Hello and welcome back, my friends. My name is Preacher, and today, what do you say we put a bow on this thing? You and me, together, right here, right now. I'm gonna put a nice bow on this Xbox Series P, Series Saga, some might say. We had a nice opening act. Had a little rising action in the middle with the 1 billion doors. And now a complete and conclusive resolution. Because, my friends, it seems the Xbox handheld Project Pembroke, which this is the native Xbox handheld device. Everybody always looks at the Canon, the ROG Ally with the Xbox sticker, and says, "Oh, not that one, not that one, the real Xbox handheld." Well, the real Xbox handheld has been sidelined, delayed, put on the bench in order for Xbox to focus on their third party devices such as the Asus ROG Ally 2 with the sticker that we just talked about. And do you see how all of this comes back together? I mean, this really was the perfect trilogy of videos because I already told you this. I told you that nobody wanted this. This was something. This was a think tank. This was a loud sound bouncing around the echo chamber that Phil Spencer hangs out in. And that's how these things got greenlit. But I knew the second that they came out with the partnered project that they weren't going to put out a dedicated device. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because one, Xbox is, and the only reason people thought this made sense, and we keep talking about this, but Xbox is no longer, when people really accept this, Xbox's hardcore community is holding them back at this point. And it's so interesting to see because they are the exact people who allowed them to get to this spot at all. Xbox needed their hardcore audience more than anybody ever has needed a hardcore audience. Xbox needed them at the Xbox One generation and afterward to keep them going. But they have shed that skin and they are completely different now. And their hardcore community wants them to do things for them so they could console war. That's again, the whole Xbox handheld idea is not a well thought out one. You know what I mean? You have to open your ecosystem. And that's why Steam, this is another perfect example of why Steam is not coming to the Xbox. People need to really understand that Xbox no longer is in the console war. They're no longer really trying to sell you a console. And they need to understand what that means. They're not going to take losses on things like hardware in hopes that somebody buys it. They've been shown people aren't buying it, so they're not making it. Why make it? They can pass off a button to to the ROG Ally 2. They could pay ROG a little money for the marketing and have it be much the same as what they would make. And yet they have no cost. They get no cost, and they get to fuck with Windows in it and try to make it a better OS because Steam OS is kicking the shit out of Windows right now as far as performance, and that is the big differentiator right there. That's what's supposed to be delaying the handheld. Is they want to focus on this Windows 11. They want to optimize the experience apparently now that Steam OS is out. But wasn't that what they were supposed to be doing anyway? Go back a month and look at all of these Xbox handheld videos, and people openly say, "Oh, well, what is it really gonna do different than the ROG Ally? What is it different gonna do than the Steam Deck?" And they all talk about the user experience. Oh, Xbox is gonna bring together the user experience. Oh, Windows 11 is so clunky. They're gonna fix the user experience, and that's why you're gonna buy this fucking $700,000-$900,000 device. And remember, I was the one who said it was going to be expensive. It was, and I'm watching this gameplay. Listen, this was one of my first Battlefront games. All right, y'all not gonna judge me off of this. Y'all not gonna judge me off of this. We all just started. All right, we all just started. Anyway, I said, I think in part two, that this device is going to be priced like a ROG Ally, right? If you want the power, you got to pay. That's just how things are. And that was before the tariff situation. So Lord knows what that thing would come out for at this point. And that's just not the way Xbox is going, right? They're going cheaper, more open, smaller. Like, people think they're going to get a Series X next generation when they get a console. I think they're getting a Series S. And they're pushing you towards PC because Xbox is done. Xbox is third party. They're making buku bucks on PlayStation. And y'all are laughing and trying to take it as a win, but it's really guaranteeing that your shit no longer is exclusive ever at all. And they're not really worried about the Xbox ecosystem, because at this point, the Xbox ecosystem is a big, it's almost like an advertisement tool. It's just for the MAUs. You know what I mean? They just want to get you on that subscription because they know people aren't really buying games over there. And it shows. So I honestly think we can keep this one pretty short, to be honest. Even though it is the conclusion, it really speaks for itself. This was a device that was never going to reach mass market, any mass market success. I mean, look at the most successful device, the Steam Deck, right? That's 3 million units sold at this point. That's what are we doing here? That's not the investment Xbox is looking to make at this point, and I think people need to understand that. But the thing is, the Xbox fan right now really wants to play PlayStation games because PlayStation players can't play Xbox games. They're publishing them. So they're looking for any way to kind of like even that field out. And I know from the outside looking in that might sound crazy, but if you listen to this astroturfing in these podcasts, that's really what is going on in that community. They were really hurt by the third party publishing. And right now, things are more uneven than they have ever been, as far as not even just console wars, just like as owning a console platform, there is less reason than ever to own an Xbox. Game Pass is doing all right now. They're doing pretty good. They got big games in there, but they're still not the big hitters, right? Even Doom, and listen, you heard it here first. Doom flopped. I know we're way off topic at this point, but Doom flopped. If they're going to do that to my beloved Final Fantasy for selling 3 million in 3 days on one platform, Doom can't even settle up on 1 million sold. They got to talk about 3 million played and 2 million was on Game Pass, right? They talked about Astrobot, but only 2 million people pressed X on Doom, A on Doom. What you mean? What you mean? There's different levels of success between the platforms. There's different standards and different levels of success between the platforms, and it shows. And that's now Xbox has had a taste of PlayStation success, right? They're selling big copies of stuff like Forza, right? Forza sold huge for them. I don't really think Indiana Jones sold like that, right? Like it's like 100,000 copies or something. Like it's not like that, but it's better than they did before. You know what I mean? It's going to help them paying off that money to Disney for the licensing fee. So you know what I mean? It's things like that. And people need to really start looking at Xbox as the publisher that they are growing into. They are shedding the console skin and they are growing into a very lucrative publisher. And the sooner that this was the life, death, and rebirth. I'm telling you, it's 3 parts. It's 3 parts. And Xbox third party, Microsoft third party publishing is much more important than any Xbox console or any Xbox console ideation. And that's why Steam really will not be on the next console. Other storefronts will not be on the next console. Microsoft is not losing that money on the console that they on one of the only things they're making money on, right? The people who are actually buying games and are holding the subscriptions. If you give them a bunch of Steam sales, if you let them buy games from everywhere, and I'm not saying Microsoft is trying to hold people in or consolidate anything, but it's the one platform that they hold. You know what I mean? I really cannot see them opening that, and I feel like this is just another show of that. They're not trying to lose the money on this kind of stuff. So we shall see in the coming days and months and years ahead of us. It seems like Xbox is constantly promising and constantly dropping the ball. You know what I mean? Xbox players, if you ever hear them hype up stuff, they usually hype up all the promises that are coming. Oh, this is coming, that's coming. But when it gets there, it's always a bit underwhelming, right? Like, y'all just got the first Doom, Xbox Doom. You know what I mean? South of Midnight, Avowed. Even Indiana Jones, right? That's one of their big successes. And that's like, ain't nobody going crazy for Indiana Jones, bro. You know what I mean? Well, you know, I gotta hope for the best, right? Because they're doing Ninja Gaiden 4, and that can't be. That can't be. It can't be. It'll break my heart. So, we hoping the best on this side for Microsoft third-party publishing. We certainly are. That'll do it for me, boyos. My name is Preacher, and I truly hope to see y'all back here on the pews. What an exciting trilogy. Love a good ending. Love a good wrap up. Love a good conclusive ending.